All right, it's time to talk about Invasion, which was the show I chose this week. Um, I said I wanted to do like an Attitude Era pay per view, like another one. Last week we did SummerSlam '98. We got to see the fucking oddities and shit. But now this is a little bit. This is getting towards like the tail end of the Attitude Era, because it only lasted about like another year after this point until it
Yeah.
transitioned to WWE. So we watched Invasion 2001. It was WCW and ECW versus WWF. That was the whole theme of the pay per view. Um, it was overall, I thought it was okay. It wasn't a bad show by any means. There was some highs, there was some lows. Um,
Yeah, there was some highs. Stacy Keeble's ass.
yep. Austin was simping, but we'll get to that later. So the show itself kicked off with a tag team match. Keep in mind, every match on this show was WCW slash ECW versus WWF. Like I said, that was the theme. So every match would be a WWF person versus either a WWE or, for fuck's sake, a WWF person versus a WCW and or ECW person, basically. So the first match that kicked off the show was the team of Lance Storm and Mike Awesome, who did not look like Mike Awesome at all. He had like short hair and a goatee. I thought he was fucking Mark Jindrak or something at first.
Yeah.
But it was the team of Lance Storm and fuck, I almost said Mark Jindrak. The team of Lance Storm and Mike Awesome
There you
versus
go.
Edge and Christian. And I had forgotten also at this time Edge was King of the Ring, so they came out carrying the King of the Ring trophy. And this was also like not too long after this was when like Edge and Christian started their feud against each other, and they like broke up.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, it was a good like opening tag team match. It wasn't bad. Obviously, the crowd this whole pay per view was for WWF. They were cheering every WWF guy, um, and that's what it was here.
Besides one person, they were cheering an ECW WCW person
Yeah,
on the show.
but in this match, the crowd was like cheering Edge and Christian, but like they were like hot for Edge.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, there's not like too much detail to go into. It's just a regular tag team match, both good teams. It's weird to think about things like a year before this pay per view, fucking Mike Awesome was doing the that '70s guy gimmick, and
Yeah.
fucking Lance Storm was in Team Canada. Like it's just weird. Like there was several times on this pay per view where we would see people from WCW be like, "Holy shit!" Like a year before this, they were so different.
Yeah.
Um, but Edge and Christian won this match. Uh, that was pretty much it for the first match. It was just a regular tag team match to start off the show. Nothing too special. Wasn't bad. What was the next match after that one? I'm trying to
Earl
remember.
Hebner versus Nick Patrick.
Oh dear God, yeah.
Special
So
guest referee Mick Foley.
yeah, so this was the way they put it was senior referee Nick Patrick, who's a WCW referee, versus senior official Earl Hebner, who is the WWF ref. And their whole rivalry was based on the fact that I guess they tried to work together, but they kept arguing about the way they were refing matches, and Nick Patrick would like fuck over Earl Hebner's decisions or something, so they would like brawl with each other, and I guess that was the setup for this match. But I have no fucking idea why on earth Mick Foley was the special referee. they use him as man, like for so long they used him as a special guest referee for so many matches. For some reason,
Yeah.
like and so he comes out wearing like a referee flannel, and I'm like, yep, that's good old Mick Foley right there with the flannel. Um, but yeah, so the crowd was behind Mick Foley because he's fucking Mick Foley in the Attitude Era, and then fucking Nick Patrick comes out with Charles Robinson and all the other WCW referees. One of them looked like I remember Austin made a note of this. He said one of the WCW referees looked like Slim Shady or something.
Yeah.
And then so Nick Patrick had like this generic fucking weird theme song, and then fucking Earl Hebner comes out with this like rock music, and like Earl Hebner and fucking he had like Tim White and fucking Teddy Long and all these other referees with him, and he immediately got in the ring and like got in Nick Patrick's face. Then the match started, and they weren't really wrestling. It was more of like a brawl,
Yeah.
and like all the other referees were on the outside, and so basically Nick Patrick and Earl Hebner were all like just brawling with each other, and it spilled to the outside, and then the fucking WCW referees started getting involved, and the WWF referees got involved, and then there's so many referees in this match.
When I tell you that fucking Tim White can throw a punch, he can throw a punch because that Slim Shady referee got knocked the fuck out. Like
Yeah,
he legit, he he got punched by Tim White and he flew. I was like, holy shit,
yeah.
he fucking flew.
But so after that, Mick Foley threw the WCW referees out from ringside, and I guess the WWF ones were allowed to just stay, I guess. And
Yeah.
uh, the match ended pretty quick. Fucking Earl Hebner won, and at this point it was WWF 2, WCW slash ECW 0. And Earl Hebner like celebrated with the other WWF referees, and then like Nick Patrick was like, he was like, oh, this is bullshit, and he was like getting mad at Mick Foley. So of course Mick Foley had to beat him up, and then he pulled out Mr. Sacco and hit the mandible claw on Nick Patrick, and that was pretty much it for that match. But yeah. What was after this match?
The APA versus Sean O'Hare and Chuck Palumbo.
Oh god. So yeah, I don't really know what the story of this match was. I guess it was just because Sean O'Hare and Chuck Palumbo were like attacking the APA, and then they were like attacking other people or some shit. I guess that was the story behind these matches. Like a lot of the stories for these matches were the WCW, ECW people attacking the WWF people. That was like the story for a lot of these matches. Um, and that's what it was for this match. So we had fucking Sean O'Hare and fucking Chuck Palumbo, the Natural Born Thrillers, come out, and then this was like not too long after this was when Chuck Palumbo started doing the fucking Billy and Chuck stuff with Billy Gunn, which Billy Gunn was on the show, but we'll get to that later. Um, and
Yep.
then the APA comes out. APA got a big pop. Um, and it was another good tag team match, like the first match. It was good. Like everybody, like Sean O'Hare was looking pretty impressive with what he was doing. Chuck Palumbo was just Chuck Palumbo, and fucking Bradshaw.
I
Oh my
mean,
god.
to be fair, Chuck Palumbo is always just Chuck Palumbo. So,
Fucking. But man, the way fucking JBL was wrestling this match, well, here's the thing. I was telling Austin. So there's a difference in my eyes between Bradshaw and JBL, because like the JBL character is just him, where he's like this rich guy asshole. I think thinks he's better than everybody else. Like that's his whole gimmick, and thinks that he's like a wrestling god. But
yeah.
Bradshaw is the I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna go out there and beat your ass and hit you as hard as I possibly can because I don't fucking care. Like, that's Bradshaw. And Bradshaw showed that in this match because when I tell you he clotheslined the living fuck out of Chuck Palumbo, he fucking hit that clothesline from hell. And I swear I saw that man's head go in the 10th row. He hit him so hard. And it wasn't even just that. Like, he hit a big boot at one point during the match. And he fucking, I don't remember if it was on Sean O'Hare or Chuck Palumbo, but he fucking leveled him. Like, Bradshaw did not give a fuck. But in the end, the APA won. And at that point, it was WWF 3, WCW, ECW 0. So then this is when we started getting like backstage segments with like Shane and Stephanie and Paul Heyman, and there was a segment with fucking Billy Kidman, and they were like all distraught. They're like, we're losing, like we need wins, and they were telling Billy Kidman, who is the WCW cruiserweight champion. They were telling him like, this all relies on you. Like, we need you to turn the tables around. We need you to get this win. And then Billy Kidman just gave like the most generic promo where he was like, yeah, I'll go out there and win for you guys, trust me, or something like that.
Now, I was telling Devon this.
Mhm.
Something about Billy Kidman. His theme, like the
Oh man, this match had two great themes.
yeah.
I'll tell you that.
So that theme, if you look up the lyrics, is legitimately about raping someone in an alley. I'm not even joking. Like, the lyrics are, it's fucking weird. Like, you could look up the lyrics. Like, it's fucked. But I know Devon's itching to talk about this match, actually. So
Yeah, so the next match was the WCW Cruiserweight Champion Billy Kidman versus X-Pac. Good old X-Pac, right? But this wasn't the X-Pac that either of us were expecting, because we both forgot at this time X-Pac was in a little group called X Factor. And when X-Pac came out, Austin mentioned this, how they didn't even dub it. They straight up just left it in. We hear fucking, I was like getting the PNGs for the thumbnail, so I wasn't paying attention. And I hear Austin say something. I look up, and all I hear is fucking Uncle Cracker coming from my TV. The fucking, I got everything I ever wanted, and I'll never give that back. And I was like, oh my god, not X Factor. And this isn't the only time we heard this theme song tonight either. Oh boy.
yeah, that's the sad thing.
But yeah, so X-Pac comes out wearing like tights and a bandana, which was weird seeing him not in like a singlet thing too. But I guess that was just that X-Pac at that time. But so we get Billy Kidman versus X-Pac. I mean, it's like none of the matches on the show are really bad. Some of them were either just or it's just like, yeah, this was a good match. It was just a regular wrestling match. There wasn't really anything that stood out as like, oh my god, that was amazing. Um, this is just a regular one-on-one match. Both guys were like high flying. They did some high flying stuff. Billy Kidman with this fucking shooting star and shit. Like, but Billy Kidman won this match, getting WCW slash ECW their first win of the night, making it WWF 3 and WCW slash ECW 1. And
Yep.
then also with every match that was upcoming, we got like a backstage promo with Vince McMahon, where Vince McMahon would go up to whoever's going to be in the next match, and he would try to like hype them up, basically. Um, but was the next match after this the William Regal one? Or was it?
It was, yes.
So then, up next, we get a fucking weird match. So Raven comes out representing ECW. This was like our first ECW representation of the night. Because so far everything else was WWF, WCW, I think.
Yeah.
And so Raven comes out. I'm like, oh god, Raven. And then fucking William Regal comes out. And I'm like, what is this match? Like, why? And like the crowd doesn't even know what to do because they don't want to cheer WCW, ECW, but they didn't want to cheer William Regal either. So the crowd was just like indecisive. And I mean, for what it was decent. But like they're two styles.
I mean, it ended.
Hmm?
It ended pretty fucking like stupidly too.
Like what I was gonna say is like their two wrestling styles just didn't seem to mesh that well because William Regal is like more like the classic style of wrestling and Raven is more of like the hardcore style wrestling, so they just like it worked, but it just you could tell like they were two like radically different wrestling styles.
Yeah.
But how did it end again?
Taz came out and
yeah.
suplexed William Regal while the ref was distracted, and then Raven hit the Raven Effect DDT.
Yep, and he made it WWF 3, WCW / ECW 2. So they were starting to climb back up on the record. So, and stemming from that, what was the next match? What happened after that?
It was Chris Kanyon,
Oh
Hugh
god,
Morris,
the
and
6-man
Sean
tag
Stasiak versus Albert, The Big Show, and Billy Gunn.
Oh, not just any Billy Gunn, Austin. The one Billy Gunn.
Yeah.
So, when I said earlier this wasn't the first time we heard the X Factor theme, so keep in mind, Big Show comes out, right? And we're like, okay, who's Big Show gonna wrestle? And then the one Billy Gunn comes out. We're like, the fuck? They're both from WWF. Like, why are they fighting? So then it looks like it's going to be a tag team match. I'm like, oh, okay. So it's going to be Big Show and the one Billy Gunn as a team. This is kind of weird. I'm like, okay, who are they facing? And then all we hear is, I got everything I ever wanted, and I'll never give that back. I'm like, oh my fucking god, X Factor? But they're WWF too. But then just Albert comes out. I'm like, what? So then this team is fucking Big Show, the one Billy Gunn, and Albert. And then the WCW guys all have to come out together. Fucking Albert got his own entrance with Uncle Kracker, but fucking the perfect one, Sean Stasiak, had to come out all together with his partners. So their opponents were the perfect one, Sean Stasiak, and the reason I'm saying that is because he was still using that gimmick because he came out with Mr. Perfect's theme song.
Yep.
And he was teaming with fucking I know Hugh Morris, but who? Yeah, Chris Kanyon or fucking what was his actual shit, like Absolute Canyon or some shit when he was trying to be like DDP or some shit like that. And fucking Hugh Morris, which we noticed they spelled Morris differently because for WCW it was Morris, but for some reason for WWF they put Morrus. I don't know why. But I guess WWF just completely scrapped the general erection thing and made him just be Hugh Morris. So
I'm not surprised.
If only we could have had Corporal Cajun in this match.
Oh.
Oh man, you know what? Oh my god, you know what would have been the ultimate meme tag team match, Austin? Fucking X Factor versus Chronic.
Oh.
I wish, man. That would have been awesome.
That hurts just to hear.
Just imagine fucking you see Chronic come out and then you just hear fucking Uncle Cracker while fucking Albert and Just Incredible come out. Where the fuck was Just Incredible? He didn't manage either X Pac or Albert.
I have no fucking clue.
But yeah, so this match was just like, all right, we have six
Oh,
of you guys here, and we don't know what the fuck to do with any of you, so 6-man tag.
you know, want to know that's worse too?
What?
I know how long the match was.
Probably like 5 minutes.
420.
Oh my god. Ah, so like the WCW guys, like pretty much they made all the WCW slash ECW guys heels on this show, and pretty much all the WWF guys were faces, pretty much. So they tried to like use heel tactics and teaming up and all that shit. And surprisingly enough, the WCW guys got the fucking win. Fucking Sean Stasiak got the fucking pin, I think. Or no, I don't think. Wait, so one of them
Well,
got the
it
pin.
was Hugh Morris that got the
Oh
pin.
god, yeah, it was Hugh Morris. But they played Sean Stasiak's theme. That's what confused me. And fucking, so then Big Show got mad and he just started and he fucking choke slammed the fuck out of Hugh Morris. Like I'm sure, like, because Hugh Morris has been choke slammed by Chronic and shit. I'm sure that choke slam from Chronic was nothing compared to what the Big Show did to him.
Yeah.
Big Show fucked him up with that choke slam. And fucking, don't forget about this, because while that was going on, apparently the perfect one, Sean Stasiak, was off in La La Land because he didn't know where he was, and then he fucking ate a choke slam too. So, you give the WCW guys a win, but you still make them look like shit, I guess.
Yeah. And then
So,
next was Tajiri versus Taz.
yeah, the whole
Tajiri was
reason,
representing WWF.
yeah, the whole reason this match even happened was because William Regal was pissed at Taz for screwing him. So William Regal went into his office and Tajiri was in there, and uh, he was like, "Did you see what Taz did out there?" He was like, "You've been loyal to me and the WWF, and you said that would represent WWF, and I want you to go out there right now, and I want you to beat Taz, and whatever." And Tajiri was like, "All right," and just went out there, and so Taz comes out first with his whole heartbeat entrance and shit, and he comes out. I mean, he's Taz. There's not really much else to say, really. He comes out trying to look all badass and cool, even though like he's been caught in 4K so many times, drooling over the divas. Um, but so Taz comes out, and then fucking Tajiri comes out, and I forgot what Tajiri's theme was. His theme song is literally like the most stereotypical Japanese theme you could have for a Japanese wrestler.
It is, yeah. It's
Like,
pretty fucking
but
stereotypical.
Tajiri was fucking so over with the crowd. Like, it was crazy how over he was. So, it was Tajiri versus Taz. Taz was representing ECW, and Tajiri was representing WWF. Um, so, I mean, the match was okay. Like, this match really reminded me how good Tajiri really was back then. Because a lot of times, like, because of his, like, stereotypical gimmick or, like, his, like, the silliness they would make him do, like, a lot of times people will really forget, like, how good of a wrestler Tajiri was. Um,
Yeah.
so he was doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Uh, he got Taz in the fucking tarantula, like he does with everybody. But the way the match ended was, so Taz, I think, bumped the referee or something, and the referee was like turned around. I think this is the match Tim White was refereeing, I think.
Yeah.
And so he bumped the referee, and the referee turned around, and Taz turned back to Tajiri, and Tajiri spit the mist in his face, and he fucking kicked the fuck out of Taz with a buzzsaw kick, and Taz was fucking out, and Tajiri got the
Yeah,
win, making it WWF 4 and WCW/ECW 3, I think.
I believe so. Yeah.
I'm trying to think what was after this.
That it was Rob Van Dam versus Jeff
Oh yeah,
Hardy.
yeah, yeah. So the backstage segment they had for this um, was Matt Hardy was talking to Jeff, and he was like asking Jeff if he was ready and this and that, and then fucking RVD comes out of nowhere and hits Matt Hardy with a chair, and then like Jeff gets up and they're like just staring at each other, and then RVD like starts talking shit, and then he like walks away, and then like Jeff's like checking on Matt, and then like right after that fucking RVD came out with his fucking, he had the tiger gear on, which is people's like favorite gear of him, and then RVD was representing, I guess he was representing ECW. Like,
Yes.
and obviously Jeff representing WWF, and Jeff was fucking crazy over in this match.
So was
Um,
RVD. They're both pretty fucking
yeah.
over.
So honestly, this was probably my favorite match of the show. Uh,
Yeah, it is really good.
I mean, Jeff and RVD really do like you have people like William and Regal, yeah, William Regal, and Raven, who you can obviously tell like they don't mesh well together, or like Tajiri and Taz, for example. But then you get to people like RVD and Jeff Hardy, where they just like click and they just work together so well. And they were doing a lot of really great counters, a lot of back and forth. Uh, this match was no holds barred, and it was not no holds barred. It was falls count anywhere, and it was for the hardcore championship because Jeff was the hardcore champion at the time. And there's a lot of really good spots. There's some ladder spots. There's a spot up on the stage where Jeff got drilled with a Van Terminator, which busted him open. Uh, Jeff went. RVD went for the split leg moonsault. Jeff got the knees up. RVD pushed Jeff off the top of the ladder onto the fucking floor, which looked nasty, and I know that fucking hurt. Uh, then there was one spot where Jeff did like a sunset flip on RVD to the outside, and RVD's fucking lower back smacked that fucking floor, and RVD was like screaming in pain, holding his lower back. I know that fucked him up.
Yeah.
There was also, I'm trying to remember what happened where like Jeff was like limping and holding his leg. I'm trying to remember what that was from.
He was on the ladder, and then Rob pushed it over. And he
Oh
landed
yeah,
on the
yeah,
leg.
yeah. And like the way he hit, like he fucked his leg up, so he was like
Yeah.
limping. Uh, but at one point Jeff went for the swanton. RVD moved, and then eventually RVD hit a 5-star frog splash, and RVD wins, making it WWF 4 and WCW/ECW 4, so they were tied at this point. And RVD also was the new hardcore champion.
Yes.
Also, I should mention earlier in the night they had this whole promo going on because this whole show they were trying to hype up the main event. So basically they were using the storylines with DDP as like fuel to the fire. Basically, it's showing how DDP like captured Stone Cold's wife Deborah and put her in like the trunk of his car and shit. And they showed Stone Cold going after him, and then they also,
Man, they did DDP dirty.
yeah, because they also referenced the fucking, they had Undertaker's wife there, Sarah, that DDP was like stalking her before. Oh, fucking god.
A man just wanted to do yoga. My man, like, come on.
Fucking, but yeah, so they tried to like build that up earlier to try to like use it as like a thing where it's like, yeah, you better stay tuned for later because Stone Cold and Undertaker are gonna be fucking pissed. And they even did like a backstage segment where Vince was talking to Undertaker and Kane, and he was like, Kane, you remember a couple weeks ago those ECW guys beat you like a dog or something like that, and
Mm-hmm.
then he was trying to get Undertaker hyped up, and he was like, just think of everything DDP has done to you, and like he mentioned something about like a sex tape with Undertaker's wife or something, and Undertaker like snapped, and he like grabbed Vince and like slammed him up against the wall, and because he said like the sex tape was called like the best of Sarah or something like that, and Undertaker like slammed him up against
Yeah.
the wall, and he was like, "The only thing you're gonna see tonight is the best of the Undertaker," and then he like let him go. I was like, oh shit, Taker's pissed, and
Yeah.
fucking uh, but was the Braun and Panties match the next match, or was there any other matches
Yep. That
that I'm
was
missing?
wonderful. We got to see Stacy Keibler, Bra and Panties. Move on.
Well, I
I
mean
mean, that's basically it,
the
really.
people
Like,
in the match was it was a I think it was like the first ever tag team Braun and Panties match. I think is what they said. It was Trish Stratus and Lita
yeah,
versus Tori Wilson and Stacy Keibler. Obviously, Trish and Lita representing
we all got
WWF,
to see
and Stacy and
we
Tori
all got to
representing
see Stacy
WCW.
Keibler in her bra and panties.
Hmm.
That's all I care about from this match. That's
Yeah,
all I
I mean
care.
Trish and Lita didn't even get stripped in this match. It was just Stacy and Tori, really. If you're curious, Stacy had
Yeah,
on yellow and Tori had on white. So, but yeah,
wonderful, wonderful yellow.
yeah. I mean, it was just your typical bra and panties match. Nothing. I mean, it's nothing special wrestling wise or anything. So, uh,
Now this is where me and Devon tuned out. The 29-minute main event.
yeah. Fucking. Actually, wait. So Trish and Lita won. So that makes it WWF 5 and WCW ECW 4, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So then we have the main event, which was they called it the inaugural brawl. Inaugural brawl is what Vince called it, and it was the team of Booker T, the Dudley Boys, Booker T, the Dudley Boys, Rhino, and one other person that I'm forgetting.
Um, Booker T, Dudley Boys, Rhino, and DDP.
Yeah, DDP. And it was that team of WCW slash ECW versus Team WWF, which was the Brothers of Destruction, Stone Cold, Chris Jericho, and Perk Angle with hair. By the way, this is when he still had hair.
Yeah.
This was pre Perk Angle. This was like Olympic gold medalist fucking Kurt. Um,
Yeah.
this is the fucking Jimmy Crackcorn fucking Yippee Ki Kurt Angle.
Oh.
This is the fucking milk truck Kurt Angle. That's what this was. And fucking.
Yep.
So, this match, it looked like it was a Survivor Series type match, but it was literally just like a 10-man tag team match.
Yeah.
And this was just all over the place. I mean, obviously, it was a brawl. People got put through the announce table, people got put through tables. I think it was Devon that got chokeslammed through the announce table. And I think Rhino put Jericho through the table that was up against the barricade. And Stone Cold got his knee slammed up against the steps. And fucking DDP got his ass whooped by Undertaker. And fucking. Just a lot of shit was going on, and it was really long too. But in the end, basically, Kurt Angle slammed Booker T, and then he hit an ankle lock, and Stone Cold put the referee in the ring because the referee had gotten taken out, and Booker T was tapping out, and Stone Cold was dragging the referee, and then all of a sudden Stone Cold starts attacking Kurt Angle, and everybody in the crowd was like, "What the fuck?" and
Yeah.
fucking JR sounded like he was about to have a fucking aneurysm of how mad he was getting at Stone Cold. And fucking he basically he I think he hit a stunner on Kurt Angle, and then he put Booker T on top of him, and the referee counted 1, 2, 3, and Team WCW/ECW wins, making it a tie
Yep.
all around. But the thing is, I don't know, because
Yeah.
at the start, like somewhere towards the start of the show, they made mention of, they were talking about some match where it was like Chavo Guerrero versus somebody, and they
Well,
said Chavo
I
Guerrero
checked
won.
that. It doesn't count because it was a Sunday Night Heat taking.
Oh, okay. Well, so then they were tied 5 WWF 5, WCW ECW 5. So they ended off the night tied. But I mean, technically, if
Yeah.
you want to say they won because they won the big match, I guess you could. But
Well,
fucking
I think that they said they were tied because that's the reason why they had the big blow off match at Survivor Series.
yeah.
Sure.
So JR sounded like his fucking head was gonna blow off with how pissed he was. He was calling Stone Cold. He was like, "You son of a bitch." And he was like,
Yeah.
I can't believe it. Stone Cold has turned his back on the WWF. What the hell? Like, JR was livid. He was absolutely livid. And like the crowd was in disbelief. It was a really great heel turn for Stone Cold. But yeah, so basically
Yeah.
Stone Cold turned heel to join the alliance of WCW, ECW, and at the end we see Stone Cold, Paul Heyman, Shane McMahon, and Stephanie all celebrate drinking a beer together as Invasion goes off the air. And that was WWF Invasion from 2001.
Yep.
Not a bad show at all.
It was not.
Honestly, it was. I thought it was a good show. I thought, is it something I would watch again? Uh, Maybe I would watch the Jeff Hardy RVD match again. I would watch the Braun Panties match again for other reasons.
Stacy
Um,
Keibler.
and the main event, I don't know if I would rewatch the entire match, but I probably would rewatch Stone Cold turning heel again, probably.
I would say
Um,
the same on all those because like it was a decent show,
mhm.
but it's not something that I would just go back to
Oh,
every.
the only other thing I would do is I would go back to like X-Pac's entrance just so I could hear that sweet, sweet Uncle
That
Cracker.
that I wouldn't do. That I wouldn't do.
Oh, it's so bad, man. It's so. Why did they pick that as their theme song?
I
Why?
can agree with Wrestling with Regret on this one. Like it's like if you were to have the New Day come out to "It's a New Day, yes it is" and put something on like "Hello Darkness, my old friend,"
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, because their theme song is literally like it has nothing to do with them. They just edit it so it goes like, "Hey, yo, you dealing with the X Factor," and then it just cuts to Uncle Cracker, and it has like nothing to do with X Factor at all.
Oh, and they like when Uncle Cracker's talking about something else, they'll edit in X Factor at over it and shit, and it will sound exactly like that.
Yeah.
It's not even the part of the song. They just edited it in there.
Hold on, I gotta look it up now.
Oh God, Jesus Christ.
So basically, this is hold on, I have to start from the beginning. All right, so this is just for reference. This is what we heard when X Pac and Albert came out. This is why it's so funny.
Yo, you dealing with the X Factor. I got everything I ever wanted, and I'll never get that back. Yo, oh, I know you hate X Factor, but you ain't
X
gotta
Factor.
look at me like that. I said you ain't gotta look at me like that.
The funniest thing to me about X Factor is people hated them for the theme song too. Like they weren't a bad group, but their theme song was so terrible that every time they would come out with it, they would get booed so bad.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I don't know how they fail on a theme song so bad. Like, the opening was so fucking good, and then, you just, Uncle
I like
Cracker.
the other one where it's like, hey yo, you dealing with the X Factor, and it's just like a guitar. It's like, dinna, 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 dinna. Like it sounds so much
Yeah,
better.
and then Uncle Cracker had to ruin everything. Just because you had Limp Bizkit for The Undertaker and that worked, didn't mean Uncle Cracker, of all people, was gonna help your new up-and-coming faction. Like,
Oh, is this the right one?
what the fuck?
Hey, yo, you dealing with the X Factor.
Yeah, this one. I thought this one was so much better.
That would work. It's so much better. It's generic, but I don't give a fuck. It's better than Uncle Cracker.
Apparently, according to that video, it was their second theme song.
No,
It
there's
says X Factor's second theme song, and for the Uncle Cracker one, it says X Factor's first theme song.
Jesus.
But yeah, so you could tell how hype I was when I heard Uncle Cracker coming from my TV and I see X Pac coming out and I was like, oh my fucking god, I forgot. Like I really forgot that at this time it was X Factor, X Pac, and like the one Billy Gunn and shit like that. I really forgot some of the
Shit.
gimmicks at this time. And then like you still had with the WCW people, you still like some of them still had their WCW 2000 gimmicks, like Sean Stasiak and shit, and like the Natural Born Thrillers. But then some didn't, like fucking Mike Awesome and shit. It was, and fucking Hugh Morris. Like it's weird,
Yeah.
but
I
overall,
don't know.
good pay per view.
Yeah, it was a good pay per view. I'll get to pick the next thing we do next week.
Ooh.
So
I'm excited to see what that is. I don't know where we're gonna go from here because we've done some ruthless aggression. Now we've done Attitude Era and fucking WCW 2000. So
well, there's only two places we could go. The early 1990s,
no,
or
no, not the cartoon era.
or we can go like 2012 in that area.
Oh god, fucking we could watch Capital Punishment, where the main event was R-Truth versus John Cena for the WWE Championship. I'm pretty sure the thing
Okay,
in
we
that
can
match
even go to the 80s.
was like I think Little Jimmy was R-Truth's manager in that match. I think. What'd you say?
We can even go to the 80s if we needed to.
Oh no! Watch some fucking like
Uh,
80s fucking roided up Hulk Hogan.
or fucking maybe go to a whole different promotion, maybe TNA, maybe.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
No. On that note, back to the podcast.
Yes, sir. That was Invasion 2001. We'll be back next week for whatever Austin picks. But yeah, back to the podcast, baby.